Alright guys, what's up? How's it going? I found something that I think honestly would be a lot of fun. Kind of want to change up the content a little bit. I know I've been doing Let's Plays and reviews and stuff like that, and I'm still going to do those things, but I found this Instagram budget thing, and I just thought it'd be fun to kind of build out, like a build your own collection Nintendo 64 from my perspective as somebody who grew up with the Nintendo 64. I think this is kind of a really neat and kind of fun idea. So we get $21 to build a budget, and we have certain tiers based on how much each game is. So like basically if I wanted Superman, I'd have to buy it for $1, but if I wanted Zelda Ocarina of Time, I have to spend $5. But we have $21 to spend. So looking at this top tier, we got Zelda Majora's Mask, Banjo-Kazooie, Zelda Ocarina of Time, Super Mario 64, and GoldenEye 007. Alright, and then in the $4 tier, we have Perfect Dark, Super Smash Bros., Mario Kart 64, Star Fox 64, and Diddy Kong Racing. In the $3 tier, we got F-Zero X, Turok 2, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Wave 64 Race, and I think that's No Mercy. It's wrestling. WF No Mercy. That's wrestling basically. $2 tier, we have Pilot Wings 64, Doom 64, 64 Blast Corpse, 1080 Snowboarding, and Pokemon Snap. And then finally, at the very bottom, we have our $1 tiers. We got Hexen, South Park Rally, Superman, Carmageddon 64, and Blues Brothers 2000. So we have $21 to spend. Alright, now obviously it'd be amazing to have all of these $5 tiers in here, but personally I'm starting to think that the $4 tier is where it's at. Okay, let's start from the bottom and work our way up. So $1, we have pretty much nothing I want to play. I know people want to meme on the Superman, and I think that's why the budget's $21 so you can have Superman. But we'll put Superman down just because it's good for the meme. Okay, I've never played it. I've seen several videos playing it and gameplay of it, but I've never in my life seen it. So we'll put it down for the memes. Okay, Superman $1. All right. So we're gonna put Superman 1 down. Superman 1. Superman for $1 down. And personally, I think it should be $0, but it is what it is. Okay. Now let's go to the $2 tier. We got Pilot Wings, Doom, Blast, 1080, and Pokemon Snap. So Pokemon Snap is a definite yes, because it is kind of iconic for me as a child. That was one of the few games I would play with my parents, and my parents would play it while I was like watching them. So it holds a real special place in my heart. So currently we're at our total is currently at 3. So we have $18 left to play with. So not bad. $3 tier. So I did play Turok 2 when I was younger. However, I was so scared of the dinosaurs that I could never get past first level. So that's going to be a hard no. Now, I've never played F-Zero, even though I've heard incredible good things about it. But I'm going to have to go with Conker's Bad Fur Day on this one. I actually own one of the few copies of this game on the original Nintendo 64. And it is fun, don't get me wrong, but it has shown its age. I will say that without a doubt, because it is not the game that everybody remembers. But it's still a good time, it's still iconic, and I still love the game. So now we're at $6. $15 left to play with. Alright, so now we're at the $4 tier. Now this is where we're going to be spending most of our money. We're definitely going to go Perfect Dark. It's easily one of my favorite Nintendo 64 games of all time. Like, without a shout. Super Smash Bros., of course, has to be in the contention, right? Now, here's where it gets interesting. We got to have a $5 tier game because there's some iconic ones, right? But I don't know if we could fit Star Fox 64 in there, because I would love to have Star Fox 64 in there. Not more than Perfect Dark or Super Smash Brothers, but our budget's looking real thin. So currently, as it stands, we have big dollars. Okay, so that means if we buy one $5 game we're kind of put in the hole because we're gonna be sitting at 19. So you know what, let's just go back to let's just go to the $5 tier and let's see what we got. Okay, so $5 we got Zelda, Majora's Mask, Banjo-Kazooie, Ocarina of Time, Super Mario 64, GoldenEye 007. Okay, this is a tough one. We really only get one shot at this because we won't have enough for another. I think I'm gonna have to go Super Mario 64. I'm not the biggest Mario guy by any stretch of the means, but I mean, it's absolutely iconic. It changed the landscape of video games entirely, and it's honestly still a pretty fun game to this day. I feel like if you played Ocarina of Time, some of the things are a little bit dated. It's a little bit too clunky. Majora's Mask I've only played a little bit of, and I don't have a good opinion on that one. And then finally we have GoldenEye. It is iconic, but if you go back and play the game, it's not good. It's good for nostalgia reasons, but honestly the game is not really worth it in my opinion. But it's still iconic. So that means we're left with $19. So that means we have about $2 more to spend. Now there's two different options we have before us. Do we buy 2 more copies of Superman, or do we buy 1080 snowboarding? You know what? Forget the list. Let's just buy all copies of Superman. Just buy 21 copies. Like, it's iconic. We'll go 1080p for snowboarding to round out the last one. Personally, I really love this game. I played it more on the PlayStation than the Nintendo 64, so I wasn't that big of a fan of it, but I mean, it's a good snowboarding game. I think it's a good snowboarding game, and you don't get a lot of those anymore. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. So total, to round it out, starting at the $5 tier, we chose Super Mario 64. And then in the $4 tier, we had 2 selections, which was Super Smash Bros. And Perfect Dark. And then for the $3 tier, we chose Conker's Bad Fur Day. And then the $2 tier, we had 2 games, which was 1080 snowboarding and Pokemon Snap. And then, of course, we also had to have the iconic Superman. So yeah, that's kind of what I would build with my collection for a budget of $21. So, you know, I think most of these games are based on nostalgia, unfortunately. So everybody's gonna have a different opinion, especially when it comes to around those $4 tiers. And you know, there's people who grew up playing, you know, F-Zero and Doom 64. I just wasn't one of those kids. You know, I played Pokemon Snap and Perfect Dark a lot. So like my opinion will be skewed, obviously. And Nintendo 64 is 1000% a nostalgia item. I still have my Nintendo 64, but there's still missing some games that I personally used to love. Well, Mario Party 3, Paper Mario, there's a couple more, but you know, Paper Mario specifically was like very influential to me as a child. So the fact that it's not on here is kind of a crime to me, because I think it deserves beyond this more than a couple of these games. But you know, that's just my opinion. So you know, with a budget of $21, I think this was a really fun concept. And yeah, so again, just to kind of round out, you know, we did $21. We managed to pick something from each tier, which I think is good because it gives us good variety. The only tier that I probably just would cut off this list is the $1 tier, mainly because I've never played any of the games except South Park Rally, and that game was bad. That was like really bad. So alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Let me know if you like this type of content, if you want to see more of this. I think I might do some of these just kind of interspersed with my regular Let's Plays. Way of the Samurai 3 Let's Play Part 3 will be up tomorrow. I will be on vacation for the rest of the week, so I'm going to have some videos in tandem, but you guys can usually catch me live streaming pretty much every single day. I'm currently live streaming Final Fantasy 13 for the first time, so head on over to my Twitch and check that out. I usually stream just about every day, Tuesday through Friday, Saturday-ish. I will be out of town on vacation, so you guys won't be seeing me very much. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you liked it, and just kind of list out what would your budget be in the comments. You know, would you put Zelda of Ocarina over Super Mario 64? How come? Would you rather have Turok 2 or Wave 64 for the $3 tier? You know, just let me know in the comments. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.